Hey y'all, it's that time of the year. I made seafood gumbo. Let's get into this video. Alright, so first we are going to defrost our shrimp. We're going to keep the shells because we're going to make a seafood stock. Alright, so to my pot, I'm going to fill it up with water. I'm going to add a couple of bouillon cubes. I have some chicken thighs with the skin and bone in. I'm going to let those boil until they start to shred apart. So I'm just going to put those in, and then we're going to work on deveining our shrimp. All right, and these are some leftover shells that I had from shrimp before. So I'm gonna add those to my stock. And so I'm just peeling my shrimp. I really hate this part, but you know, you gotta go through the process. The shrimp I used last time are red Argentinian shrimp, and they were already deveined, but this is tedious, but it's worth it. So I'm just going through the motions, deveining the shrimp and then keeping the shells. I'm gonna fill my saucepan with water, and this is the seasoning I use. The top ramen shrimp flavor is what I use to make my seafood stock. So I'm gonna add that in and the shrimp, and I'm gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes. All right, and here I'm just checking on the chicken. It does take about an hour or so for it to completely shred. So just going to do that and get started on prepping the veggies. I'm going to cut some celery, bell pepper, onion, and then I'll add in some garlic a little later. All right, y'all, so I'm just chopping my veggies. I'm so excited. It is finally cold here in Northern California. This is a perfect weather for gumbo and stuff like that. So, yep, just going through the motions to cut all my veggies, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, so my shrimp have simmered for about half an hour. I'm going to remove them and strain them. I'm going to keep the water and toss the shells because we're done with them now. All right, so I'm going to chop some andouille sausage. I've used a lot of andouille sausage, but this silver brand was kind of good. It had a little bit of kick to it. So just going to chop these up, and then we are going to put a little olive oil in the skillet and fry them up. All right, so I'm gonna add in my veggies, and this heat is on medium. So just gonna soften these for maybe 5 minutes or so. And then the last minute or so, I'll add in some garlic. You can use fresh garlic. I always use minced. So I'm using about maybe a tablespoon and a half, and just gonna let that saute. And then we will start working on our roux. All right, so here is the roux. 1 cup of oil and 1 cup of flour. This process is probably the hardest thing. It takes the longest. It took me I'm trying to think. It took me I started at 12:46 a.m. and I finished the roux at 1:09. So it took me a few minutes. You always say you might have to tag team somebody, switch hands. You do not walk away from this roux because you do not want to burn it. You want to make sure that it is a very dark chocolate color. So just going through the motions here, stirring, and my arms and my hands hurt today, y'all, but it is so worth it. All right, so our roux is nice and chocolate. solid. So we're gonna go to our next step. All right, so I am adding my seafood stock in, and then the veggies and the sausage, and we're gonna let this cook for about another 45 minutes, I'd say, just to make sure that everything is cooked together. It's marrying together all the flavors, and then I'm gonna add all my seasonings. I will have the measurements and what I actually use in the description box. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, whether you are new or returning. Please make sure that you interact and like this video, comment your favorite holiday food, your favorite winter food. It really helps my channel when you guys interact. So now I'm just adding in the roux, and I'm gonna let that cook, I'd say, for another 30 minutes or so. Also added in 4 bay leaves. So here is the crab. I put a lot of crab in my gumbo, y'all. I go overboard because I love crab, particularly snow crab. So I'm just gonna clean this, knock the chill off a little bit, and just make sure, you know, it's clean thoroughly. And then we're gonna add this to our gumbo pot. All right, so here I am just removing the skin from the chicken thighs. It helps with the flavor, but I don't want to eat that in my gumbo, so I'm just taking that out, adding the crab in. I'm gonna let this cook for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna turn my fire off. All right, so this is cooked for 10 minutes. I'm turning my fire off, and I'm gonna put my shrimp in and let this sit for an hour. You don't wanna overcook your shrimp so that they're rubbery. And then I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of the gumbo filet to thicken the base up. And I serve this with some white rice. And this was a labor of love. I think I finished about 3:30 in the morning, maybe 4. I definitely had me a sample late night. Here I'm just tasting to make sure all the salt is, you know, where I want it to be. And that's where you can adjust if you need to. But this was good. I can't wait to dig into this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.